Hello and welcome to the Through the Decades January 2026 Premodern Monthly, coming to you from Through the Decades in Louisville, Kentucky. Today we'll be showcasing the Round 5, which is the final round before the cut to top 8, matchup between Ben on the left with SuParWave, and returning to the feature match table after his victory in Round 1, we have Brad on the right with Enchantress. And we'll get to those deck lists right after a word from our sponsor. Through the Decades, in conjunction with the Ohio River Boas, are proud to bring you Grand Prix Louisville on June 6, 2026. If you ever find yourself missing not only the pre-modern era of Magic the Gathering, but the old tournament structure, this will be the event for you. The entry fee for the main event is $60 and will include a specially designed Grand Prix Louisville playmat and a stamped card. Prize support for the main event will be $5,000, paying out to the top 16, along with a Magic the Gathering themed championship belt for the winner. Side events will include some retro booster drafts, including Mirage Block, Tempest Block, and Urza's Block, along with a Pauper Win-a-Duel giving out a Tundra to first place and a Bayou for second place. The main event will max out at 300 players, so seating is limited as we throw one of the largest celebrations of the pre-modern format to date. So, don't miss your chance to be part of pre-modern Magic history and sign up by scanning the QR code on the screen. All right, and here we've got Ben's SuParWave list, which is a very unique name, but it does stand for Survival and Parallax Wave. They're basically trying to uh, smush together a Survival of the Fittest deck list with the Parallax Wave Opalescence combo as well, and get a lot of value out of that. You can see up in the top left-hand corner, we've got a lot of mana creatures, birds, Llanowar elves, a Quirion Sentinel, which I'll be honest, I had to look up before starting this. It's a 2/1 for 1 and a green. When it enters, add a mana of any color. Then you've also got Wall of Roots, Wall of Blossoms, just the usual mana dorks and walls that the survival decks like to play. You also see a Sylvan Safekeeper hidden over there. Then you've got your enchantments, your survival, your one-off Sylvan Library, Sterling Grove to be able to protect, and then tutor up if you need to one of your pieces, your Parallax Wave, your Opal, and then Enlightened Tutors to be slightly toolboxy, or just make sure you get whichever piece of the enchantment combo you want. And then Swords, Monk Realist, and an Auramancer, I believe that is over there. And then just a couple toolbox creatures on the right there. Squee obviously goes really well with our Survival of the Fittest. Triskelion, and Karmic Guide, and then 3 Exalted Angels, because that card is silly when you can blink it out with Parallax Wave, going from 3 to 4, and then bringing back a 4 or 5 Lifelinker, which is pretty beefy in this format. Nothing too exciting. Well, I say nothing too exciting in the lands until we see the Hickory Woodlot, which is one of the depletion lands. It comes into play tapped with 2 counters on it, and then you can tap to remove a counter and add 2 green mana. Now our sideboard here, we see it looks like we've got swords, 2 Circle of Protection red, a Tormod's Crypt, a Ray of Revelation. Now, I did ask Ben, hidden underneath that Ray of Revelation is an Aura of Silence. Then we've got True Believer, Uktabi, 2 Call the Herds, 2 Carpet of Flowers, a Xanted Swarm, a Gaia's Blessing, and a pretty spicy pickup of Concordant Crossroads. Austin, what do you think about this list? I know you don't have a lot of experience. That's kind of why I just did the full overview. But what do you think about this list?
Yeah, no, this looks like a very combo heavy, very interesting list. Just as you're sitting there talking about it, I just started going through all the different ways that we can use these creatures with Parallax, Wave, and Opalescence to kind of just do some really cheeky, really tricky combos. I mean,
Yes.
Triskelion with that combo is just infinite damage with the Triskelion. Karmic Guide, we can get any creature that we want out of our yard back into play. Like you said with the Exalted Angel, we can just flip that for free. The Quarian Sentinel, we can make any mana, as much mana as we want of any color. So
Yeah.
if we need to use that, we've just got infinite mana with that as well. This is a really interesting list. I like it a lot.
Yeah, and I really like this as a survival list. I know a lot of survival of the fittest list, to be blunt, can't do anything if they don't have their namesake card, which is why you'll see a lot of them playing, multiple enlightened tutors or there's other ways to try and tutor it up because If you don't have that, you're drawing a bunch of toolbox creatures, and then you're trying to just be an anemic beatdown deck. But this deck is trying to, I think, circumvent that issue by playing some extra combos in there and also just playing Parallax Wave as, two-turn fog, three-turn fog, and then you can bring it back with your Aromancer, which then you can hide with the Parallax Wave, so when it dies, and the Aromancer comes back. So it has a lot of that inevitability where you kind of keep those cards coming back and forth, so you don't lose your wave at all. And then once you get the Opal out, then you can start wiping your opponent's board and then finding more and more tricks to do with these cards. So I really like this here. Now, it is going to be rather interesting seeing how he's going to fare against Brad, our other player in this matchup, as he's on the Enchantress deck. So we'll take a look at his list here in just a second. All right, we've got Brad's green-white Enchantress list. Now, Austin, you've played this deck to a fairly decent placing at Eternal Weekend. I hear what was it, top 16 for you? I think, right?
Yep, top 16.
Top 16. That I wonder if there was anyone else from the area that did better with that deck. I'm not entirely sure myself, but if you would like to give us a little bit of a breakdown of this list here.
I don't think there really was anybody of note.
Okay,
So yeah,
fair enough.
I could go over this with the resident expert.
Of course, yeah,
Um,
the premier Enchantress player in the area, right?
oh yes, so yes.
Okay.
So yeah, this looks like a fairly standard stock Enchantress list. Main kind of like what you're talking about round one. The main idea is to get an Argothian Enchantress or an Enchantress's presence out, so we can start really turboing through our deck, playing a bunch of these different enchantments to draw a bunch of cards, play more enchantments to draw more cards, play more lands, ultimately ending up playing out the Parallax Wave Opalescence combo, which kind of like what we saw in Ben's deck. But this is going to be a lot more streamlined, a lot more focused on that side of the combo, just trying to power that out, draw as many cards as we can to more or less combo kill every single one of our opponent's creatures, just exile them all so we don't even have to worry about creature combat anymore and just winning with a bunch of one drop and two drop enchantments that have turned into dudes that can attack.
Now, I will say, with both players being on the Parallax Wave Opalescence combo, the math could get very complicated very quickly.
Yes, we could really see some fireworks in this round if both players have a wave out and an opalescence. We may see some brains get broken, some nosebleeds starts happening just with people trying to figure out how this interaction works.
I will be honest, I've been on the Enchantress Discord for a while now, and there have been a few articles written about it that you have to read to even start to figure out the best ways to do this. The long and short is you have to have greater than a 2-to-1 advantage to be able to permanently exile your opponent's wave. But it gets really convoluted really quickly if both players know what they're doing when it comes to the mirror there. So we may get to see that. Who knows? We'll figure that out, of course, once we do get to that match, which, hey, let's get to game one right now. All right, it looks like Ben is unfortunately mulliganing to 5, so that is going to be a little rough. Brad looks like he's sitting on 7. Let's see here. Brad looks like he's on the play. No one drop. But I think I saw an Argothian Enchantress in his hand.
Looks like I see a karmic guide, a survival, and a wave in Ben's hand. So
And community player Ken sounds like he's come by to pick up drink orders for our table.
yeah, what a nice guy.
He's a hell of a guy, what can I say? All right, and we've got a Sarah Sanctum and then a Wild Growth. So it looks like Brad is just trying to go for a more explosive turn 3, I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
And it's entirely possible the Sarah Sanctum was the only card in his hand, so he couldn't cast this Argothian Enchantress. Now, I saw a Seal of Cleansing in Brad's hand, which we may end up casting. Depends on if he wants to try and put the foot on the gas to see if he can outrace his opponent, or if he wants to, yeah, cut
Yeah.
them off the survival, which I think is the absolutely correct play here.
Yes. With especially with Ben mulliganing the 5, you could very easily see a situation where Ben kept solely on the power of survival of the fittest. So cutting that off is probably the best avenue to do.
Absolutely solid play there from Brad. Ben's got a Quirion Sentinel in play. That is a 2/1 elf. I know we talked about everything else that this card does earlier, but and Brad
Yep.
with an Enchantress and then a Swords to Plowshares, it looks like.
Yep. Just trying to deny Ben as much resources as he can. It
And it's
looks
definitely
like.
not the most exciting target for that. But with that said, you know, Ben did mull down to fives.
Hmm. Yeah. And his hand, I would say, does not look very exciting. It looked like it's just a land and a karmic guide is all he has left.
Yeah.
So
Now that wave isn't bad because that wave can sort of stop any shenanigans Brad was hoping to do with his own wave and Opalescence. Now it can't do anything against this Argothian Enchantress because it's got Shroud,
hmm.
but it's not entirely a dead card.
No, definitely not. It makes it where Brad definitely has to play his own wave out first before he can even start to think about playing an opalescence out.
Yeah.
So it could essentially give Ben 5 turns to try to figure out what he's doing with his just let his deck figure out what it wants to do here.
Yeah. Hey,
Look,
I agree with that.
playing a 5 mana 2/2 may not exactly be the best, but that's kind of what he has to do right now. Just you have to put pressure on this Enchantress deck. If you give this deck enough time, it will find all of its pieces and it will combo kill you.
Yes.
So you just have to try to stop that.
That looks like Brad did finally hit his third land drop. I think he's been sitting waiting for that for a minute now.
Yeah.
I'm suspecting we are going to cast another Seal of Cleansing that we see pulled to the right there. Nope. Okay. So we've got what? White, white, green?
Yeah. Yep. Now he's drawing 3 cards. Just casual ancestor recall.
Yeah, wave's gone. I'm just gonna go ahead and swords and I think that's a very good decision.
Hmm.
Not knowing how many of those he has, because we didn't have open deck lists at least before the top eight. We do have open deck lists for our top eight players though, but before that, him not knowing how many karmic guides were there, you don't want to potentially get stuck where he can karmic guide out of the graveyard and get another one and keep that value engine going.
Yeah.
Right, and an Armancer on a survival, well, of all the things he could have done, that is not the worst.
No, this is a good way to kind of start kind of building his way back into this game.
Yeah. He is trying to muscle his way back into this game, but
Yeah.
maybe too little too late. Brad having 3 Enchantress effects in play already turns even that single wild growth in his hand into an Ancestral Recall that basically costs 0, which is just disgusting. Yep.
Yep.
Two,
I would
two.
not be surprised if we see the game spiral so far out ahead that Brad just wins the game this turn.
Yeah. Brad doing the Enchantress math, which to
Yep.
pull the veil on the joke from earlier, I've played this deck a lot, so I get it. It hurts.
Yep. You got to pull out the energy tokens or the Pokemon energy tokens to help keep the mana
Yeah.
counting. This is where we all are when we play this deck. To
I'll be
maximize our mana as
I
best
put
as we can.
I put mine on my lands themselves, but otherwise, jeez.
And putting Yep, keeping the counter on the exploration. Yep,
Yep.
I believe I see
Oh,
6 white too.
he's, yep. And I see an opal and a wave in his hand.
Yep. Okay,
Uh,
opal
now,
wave. Yep, we're
now
this is pretty much the law.
I also see that if I remember correctly, Ben has a wave of his own in his hand.
He
So
does. Yes, we
we're
could
gonna
we could see some fireworks here soon.
almost as if we predicted it. No, we don't watch these videos beforehand. Brad playing another Enchantress's presence. So we've got one Enchantress that can attack. Okay. All right, and Ben just kind of
Yeah,
packing them
yeah.
in.
Good,
Yeah, he was far
good
enough
guy Ben,
behind.
making where we don't have to deal with that. I
Yeah.
appreciate you.
Yes. Props to Ben for saving us all that headache. All right. Well, now as we get to sideboard, let's take a look at their list and see what we think they might bring in. All right, and looking back here at Ben's list, I can definitely see that we want to bring in the Ray of Revelation and the Aura of Silence. I'm pretty sure we're going to be trimming those Swords to Plowshares. They have literally no text against the Enchantress list. Otherwise, you could probably make an argument for Tormod's Crypt, maybe for, I don't know, the Quirion Sentinel, or maybe the Wall of Blossoms. Actually, the Wall of Blossoms might be a pretty safe cut. That card is a liability against the Opal Wave combo, so maybe he does not want that. What are you thinking?
Yeah, no, that's a good call out on the wall of blossoms. Just in case anybody doesn't really understand what that Nombo would be, what Brad could do is bounce the or exile the wall of blossoms with parallax wave, let it go under the wave, and then exile the wave itself. It would bring back both the wave and the wall of blossoms, and Ben would be forced to draw a card, and he could just keep doing that over and over until Ben draws out his entire deck. So that's a very good call out. I didn't think about that off the rip.
Yeah,
Um,
and the other thing he can do also, because you don't want to do this one at a time. You can also just stack the parallax wave, like stack the enter the battlefield trigger off the
yes.
wall of blossoms, then do it again, then do it again, then leave Ben with 3,000 wall of blossoms enter the battlefield triggers on the stack and go. All right, I'm ready to pass priority F6. Essentially, what do you do? Die is the answer.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good call out. I do agree with taking out the swords. They seem to not be very good. I do like your bring-ins of Ray, or a Torah script. I could also see him bringing in Call of the Herd, just because it's just more beef you could put on the table to kill the Enchantress player as fast as humanly possible. But yeah, outside of that, I think that those are good cuts and good bring-ins.
All right, and looking at Brad's deck list here, I can definitely see him wanting to bring in the Aura of Silence. It's pretty easy pickup there. Otherwise, you could argue for the Fourth Swords and
Yes.
Karmic Justice, since there's going to be targeted removal, so the extra Karmic Justice might help as well.
Yes. I think I agree with that as well. I guess the biggest problem is I just don't really know what cards look bad in this matchup that are easy cuts. My first thought are the solitary confinements may
Yes,
not be in the best spot here. So I think those are pretty easy Aura Silence, solitary confinement 2-2 swap here.
I agree.
Um, Outside of that, I don't really see anything that's sticking out to me as an easy cut. I could see like trimming a Sterling Grove, but I actually don't mind it with Ben bringing in a Ray and an Aura.
I think I like leaving those in. I know normally I'm a fan of trimming those down. We may have to trim down a wild growth or an exploration
Yeah,
because
yeah,
everything
those
else
were my
here is
next two.
pretty solid.
Yeah, those were the next two I was going to start going after. Is just start to trim those guys down. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that's probably what Brad will do here.
Yeah. I agree there. I think I'm also going to walk back my suggestion on the Swords to Plowshares just because the deck is all he's got an embarrassment of riches right now, and I think the third or the fourth swords won't be doing as much as we want it to. So,
That's very
but with
fair. Yeah.
but with that said, let's go on back to our gameplay here and see exactly what our players have done for our post board game. All right, and it looks like we're getting our game two opening sevens now. Ben's had to mold a six, and Brad's had to mold a five. It looks like so that is an unfortunate start for both of our players. Brad looking like he was getting ready to ship a Miri's Guile, but unfortunately, I'm happy to say he did not because that would have been a card he did not want to send back.
Yeah, the ugly cat. I'll ship it to you.
Austin, did I see a Concordant Crossroads in Ben's deck there? I thought I saw that when I was shuffling there.
Good of. I guess he just kind of going back to what we said during the sideboard, get the aggressive posture in this matchup. That would definitely lead to a more aggressive posture.
I mean, it is a card that will help, quote, make him dead, end quote.
Yeah, that is true.
So yeah, for Guile. Sorry, so you're okay. So
Brad accidentally misnaming the card because he's wishing he had Sylvan in play so he could pay some life to draw some cards. Undo that mulligan, which is unfortunate, but he does have a fetch land here, so he gets to shuffle away what looked like a couple of lands there, which really is the power of that stupid cat card, as we like to call it.
Oh yeah.
I'll play this more. I'll pass. Right there. Yeah.
Right. It looks like we see that Exalted Angel too, but we know that Brad has the swords to answer that.
As long as Brad has the white mana available
What I'm
to
searching
him.
for, I knew the top part was a forest.
Yes, that's true. What if Foothills famously cannot grab planes in this format?
Unless you're at LobsterCon. But that was on accident, so
Try that.
oh, I'm a big fan of Rich Shea. Please understand this is not a spiteful dig. All right, but Brad having the
But
planes to
there,
cast the swords on Exalted Angel, who
Angel. Yeah. Okay.
thank you, Ben, for not putting him in the graveyard.
Ship it on over.
yeah, a lot of times it doesn't matter as much. This one with a Karmic Guide hanging out in Ben's hand, that'd be quite the unfortunate circumstance.
Yeah. So Brad drew a Seal of Cleansing, which is nice because it could be an answer to the Ray of Revelation. And before I even finish the
Mhm,
sentence, which fair enough, I do not blame Ben for wanting to get that off the table. That way he can have more room to play with his enchantments.
mhm.
E-tutor?
Looks like he's
5.
contemplating playing an Enlightened
Processing.
Tutor right now as well. So definitely getting whatever he grabs off Seal Cleansing. Not ideal.
Yeah, it looks like we're seeing what E-Tutor, Wave, and Karmic Guide in the hand.
Yeah.
Been having a long
So
think about that.
yeah. So he may think about trying to get his one of Opalescence right now
Maybe an
to
Aura of
combo.
Silence?
Maybe that Aura Sounds that he brought in the from the sideboard as well. Yeah.
Or at least the Aura of Silence we're hoping he brought in from the sideboard. Okay, yes, I
Yes.
see that
Yep.
on top
Sitting
there.
around. Yeah.
It's always the worst feeling. Like, okay, let's tutor up this card that you could have just drawn.
And yeah. And to answer your previously asked question, yes, I did see the Concordant Crossroads in the deck
Oh,
now. So
which, as we said, after thinking about it for a minute, yeah, that seems perfectly reasonable. Ben is going to have the creature advantage until there's an Opalescence out.
Draw this way. Yeah.
And we're going to cast that Survival, I'm hoping.
Yep.
the survival.
Now he's a little stymied on green mana, unfortunately. If he had another one, then he could go get some sort of mana to work like Bird or an Elf to be able to start snowballing here. I would not be surprised, though, if we went to go get a Squee.
Yep, I think starting to agree with the advantage is the right play here.
Yep. He's going to 20. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
And what are we getting here? Like I said, I'm assuming it's Squee, but safe
Yep.
bet. And now it's probably pretty safe for him to go get a Wall of Roots. That way he can have a green mana source on his turn as well as Brad's turn to be able to fix that lack of green mana that he has at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
To
I
really
agree.
let that survival chain get going.
Pretty close to garbage time. Yep.
Looks like he has a Oromancer pulled to the front, a Sentinel pulled to the front.
He could also just go for the beatdown plan if he grabbed himself an Angel there, which
Yeah.
I think that's what we've got. Okay.
Yep, what he grabs.
Morph it on down. Mysterious morph. What could it be?
Brad hamming it up a little bit for the camera.
Oh,
Appreciate
yeah.
that.
Presence trigger. Return. Yeah. Enchantress. Yeah. That's all I got.
All right, looks like Brad's got his engine
Yeah, like
more
this
set up.
is yeah. Yeah, going to
He
5
just
and being able to get 3 Enchantress in play is solid. And I think we saw a wave in his hand. This could be pretty solid for Brad right now.
yeah.
Yeah. It's weird. Yeah.
We're probably getting a Monk Realist here. I'm getting. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Would not surprise me. I think I saw the Concordant Crossroads in his hand. If Ben just takes
Yeah,
some extra
he did.
damage to allow that realist to get in.
Yep, and it looks like our players just he just announced that he's going to cast it and destroy the presence there. So a little bit of shortcutting in that just to help the game get done a little quicker, which we always appreciate.
Yeah. Yeah, shortcutting is absolutely legal within the rules of the game.
Yeah.
Confinement trigger.
Brad with a confinement. Okay, so our thought of him trimming that
Trigger.
looks like we were incorrect on that one.
Yes, but it looks like he did bring in the Aura Sound, so we
Yes.
at least got that one correct.
Yeah.
So that's one land for turn.
It looks like even with Ben blowing up one of the 3 Enchantress effects, the other 2 look like they're going to be doing just fine in getting Brad's hand to go from few resources to probably moving right back up to 7 cards in hand.
Or a trigger.
And Aura of Silence coming down to this is starting to get out of hand here.
Yeah.
Survival absolutely getting nuked there. Great decision there.
Mm-hmm. It's like I believe he has 4 cards in hand, one of them being a Swords to Plowshares for the Exalted Angel. So we already have the answer for Exalted Angel, plus we're just hiding behind Solitary Confinement. This is starting to look pretty good for Brad's side.
Although the Solitary Confinement itself is an answer to Swords to or answer to Exalted Angel.
Yes,
So he
yes,
may just discard the swords.
he could. I think I'd be a little worried on his side with a monk realist out, knowing that your opponent's playing wave. You've seen that. You can probably safely assume there's an opalescence with just how this kind of games have gone and how it's looked. So you
Yeah.
may have to worry.
Oh, and double Sarah Sanctum on the number of times I've done Mirror's Guile triggers and then just seen land, 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 and it looks like Brad is falling into that.
Mm-hmm. All
That is
right.
one of the unfortunate realities of this deck. Is sometimes you just hit land after land after land when you need to draw any kind of gas.
Yeah.
But it looks like he's able to support this at least.
Looks like he also drew another seal of cleansing. So the card draw is really starting to flex its muscles here.
Yeah. And Brad's pulling out the energy counter, which cannot feel good for Ben.
I believe that says 6.
Yeah, there's 7 enchantments in play now. He just played the seal, so yeah, that would be 6. So we're going down to 4. Also, I can hear someone being very loud in the background, telling some sort of inane story. I think it's someone that just had already double drawn in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. With this being the last round, there was a few of us that were able to draw in. So
Yeah.
this
And
this match got a little bit more crowd fanfare than some of the other ones that we've been watching today, with a lot of people starting to gather around as they're waiting for top 8.
yeah. And now these guys, if I remember correctly, were both at 2-2 at the time, so they may be able to squeak in with a 3-2 record, depending on who
Yes.
wins and how the tiebreakers shake out. But there are no guarantees.
Yes. And as we were talking before as well, both of these players made top 8 at the Evansville Eternal Open in July 2025, put on by community favorite Javier Lugo. So both of these guys came in with some pedigree in the pre-modern format. So this was going to be a pretty anticipated heavy hitting matchup.
Yeah, neither one of these guys are slouches when it comes to match. They top aided a 60-man event out in Evansville, which was a wonderful event. Austin and I both also top aided that event as well. I on Enchantress. Austin knocking me out in the top 4 with red green Terraponza. Anyways, you know what? Let's keep talking about this game as Brad continues to do Enchantress things.
Yeah. We're getting to the point where there's so much stuff on the table. It definitely can get a little kind of tricky on seeing what lines you have available to you.
Brad looks like he's getting an opalescence. I'll also point out he did draw number 3 and 4 on Sarah Sanctum.
Yeah. Also see a replenish and a couple other at this point do nothing enchantments, but
Yeah.
they just say draw 2 cards on top of them. That's honestly good enough.
Yeah. All right, we're tapping 4 mana here. Oh,
Oh boy.
oh boy.
It looks like Brad kind of had the same thought that we did as he kind of shakes his head a little bit here. Uh, 2 waves on one side with an opalescence getting drawn. This kind of like as we were saying, this could get explosive here soon. Yeah.
Brad
Looks like
conveniently leaving the opalescence on top and revealed.
oh yeah.
As the
I think
commentary team, we appreciate that. But yeah, of course.
we all kind of knew what was going to happen here. Yeah. They don't need really to be tricky, especially when we're going to draw all 3 of those cards anyways here very shortly. So kind of as we were talking in this spot, if he plays this, okay, he plays this up, lets it out. Ben actually does have the advantage here with the 2 waves to Brad's 1. Though Brad also
Yeah.
has a seal cleansing and has a couple swords in hand that we've seen here. So they could kind of act as counters for Parallax Wave. And yeah,
Of course, it gets more complicated when you consider that there is a monk realist in there too. So if the monk goes away at all,
oof, that's a
oof,
good point too. That's oof.
Activate my parallax
I'm
wave.
glad that we are sitting here in the commentary booth and not here in the games because this has become quite the complicated board state.
yes. And it looks like Ben is breaking serve first, activating his parallax wave. Now, I didn't hear what he was targeting.
I did not either.
He may very well just be targeting the parallax wave itself, but
I think that's the way that you have to do this.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what. And it looks like Brad is deep in the tank here, thinking of how can we get out of this spot.
Yeah, that is.
So
This is an unfortunate
in
situation.
response to that, I will have my wave target itself. Ow, this stuff.
Okay, so so Brad is now targeting itself with the wave, and it looks like
Yeah.
we're now in this spot.
Yes.
Okay, and now he's going to start using the seals as de facto counters on Parallax Wave.
Targeting itself. Will use the last counter to target it.
All I'm getting out of this is we need some sort of trigger markers here for
I was already kind
future
of starting as
for
well.
future games because this is it's even worse on Magic Online. And like I said, I do not envy Brad this position. I can tell he is to be blunt, and Brad actually messaged this when he messaged me his deck photo.
Sorry,
He asked us not
say
to
something.
rag on him too hard for game two, and it had been a long day to be completely honest. And Enchantress is not the most easy deck to play, especially correctly, for a long time. So
Yeah,
especially when you get into
yeah.
these
This is
complicated board states, I no.
I will.
No poking fun here. I am full sympathy on that one. The wave
This
mirror
wave
is
targeting that holding
it
priority
hurts. It
outlaw
hurts a
create this
lot
one
to
again
be
yeah,
completely
targeting
blunt.
yeah,
itself. So
yeah. This is
as
quite
we both
cruel
have
to do to our
sealed
players on round 5, this deep with possible top 8 on the line. This is we're definitely putting them through their paces
Yeah.
in this tournament.
So it looks like Ben has targeted his own far, or let's call it the bottom wave. We'll go like top to bottom. The bottom wave
Sure, sure.
has targeted itself.
swords that would
Yeah,
So he's swordsing there.
activate this one targeting itself. Yep. It is back.
All right.
okay.
And
Now
now that
it's
we've got a fresh wave in play,
Am I good
this
to
this is
with
is
this? That one's
yep. This
itself
is pretty
targeting
trivial at this
wave.
point.
yeah.
I will
So
activate
essentially,
this.
what Ben is going to do here is probably take out every single enchantment outside of Opalescence on Brad's side, and with Brad's Opalescence and Ben's. Okay,
Yeah.
well, Brad's just going to skip it. It's like what he could do is just take everything else out, and with his Concordia Crossroads, he could attack for 12 right there and get that game over pretty quickly.
Yeah. And not to mention also he gets to flip that angel for free.
Yes, he could also flip that Angel
Yeah.
for free. So yeah, he's actually even attacking for 14.
Yeah.
So yeah,
This is
that game's over.
yep. All right. Well, hopefully Brad will be able to shake it off and get to a good game three, and we'll actually, fortunately, just skip past all that and get to this game in just a moment. All right. Looks like we've got both players keeping sevens in the game three, so we are going to get hopefully some good clean magic here. And starting off with our terrible cat card friend here.
Windswept Keys, Forest,
All right, and that is a Sylvan Safekeeper in case the newfangled frame there, and the Judgment water stamp on there should make that a little easier to understand. But Brad doing exactly what he wants to do and starting off with an Anchor in play. An Anchor, of course, being one of the 12 cards that an Enchantress deck wants to keep in their opening hand, usually Mirror's Guile or one of the 8 Enchantress effects. I think I saw, by the way, I think you were correct in guessing that the Call of the Herd was going to come in.
Yeah, I think I saw that as well.
And it seems that Ben has correctly assessed that he wants to be the beatdown in this matchup for sure.
Mm.
Now, I don't think Brad is on Team Send a Message by attacking for 0 with an Argothian Enchantress.
Send it right into the wall of roots.
Oh yeah,
She could get lost in there. That's fine.
I am firmly in the camp of doing the cheeky send in for 0.
Trigger? Yep. Take a white out of there. Yep. Trigger.
Aura of Silence could
Yep.
definitely put in some work there. Doesn't look like Ben has any targets in his hand right now, but even making a wave or a survival cost 2 more can definitely stymie what Ben's trying to do with his game plan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was able to get a little bit of Banner Ramp with the Wall of Roots, but if he has to start paying 6 for any of his Parallax Wave or Opalescence,
Yeah.
and definitely put a damper on his game plan.
Oh,
Yeah,
hey.
we've
Brad
got our
finally
handy dandy.
reminding him for my token box that I spent some time getting together. And this time we have elephants.
While you're looking, I'm gonna go ahead and guile. Yeah, sorry about that. No, you're good, man.
Please tell me I remember to put elephants in there.
Oh, I see them right there.
All right, cool. And I appreciate Brad making sure that we had those available to us so we could keep it a little cleaner for video coverage.
So if I'm Brad, I think we're trying to find a second Enchantress effect here pretty soon. We're getting pretty close to being able to really go off.
Yeah. Yeah, hitting that critical
And
mass of card draw is definitely gonna make it a lot easier for him.
yeah, and Ben, even with a Call of the Herd, he's not really putting in that much pressure. That's especially with a Parallax Wave that could just exile a token forever.
Yeah, that wave absolutely blanking this Call of the Herd and the future one. I don't think Ben's gonna want to spend 4 mana and half a card to remove a counter off of a Parallax Wave, I don't think.
Yeah, it could possibly be even worse because Ben still has that Sylvan Safekeeper, so he could, in theory, protect elephants from the wave with psyching a land, but that is quite the steep cost, which is looks like he's considered that it is worth paying that.
You know what?
But for a double Stone Rain, this is quite the investment he's already put in here.
Yeah, it's double Stone Rain and That is terror at this point. I mean, take your pick on whatever removal spell you want to call it, but I, you know what, Parallax Tide got banned for a reason, and I
Yeah.
know it was legal in this event, but Wave is doing its best impersonation right there.
Yeah. All right, so it looks like that one is now getting exiled.
Elephant down.
Yep.
Brad missing that value off of attacking with the Argoth and Enchantress. We really need to talk to him about missing those attacks. Like, it's style points. I get it, but
It's sending a message. I understand.
foil Russian stomping ground. Send the message.
Exactly.
All right, now.
Okay. So that's quite the interesting conundrum. I wonder if Ben knew that he had that Exalted Angel play land in hand, so he wanted to get rid of all the counters off of Wave now. So Brad could have exiled all the Exalted Angel ever stuff as well with that trigger on the stack, destroy Parallax Wave with his own aura silence.
He could have.
Essentially,
I
as
don't.
well. I wonder if that's kind of what he was thinking there. It's quite the heads up play if it was.
If I were in Brad's seat, I think I would consider the Aura of Silence more important keeping Ben off his enchantments, especially with Ben being down to 2 lands right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like right now, he is miles away from casting a.
Okay, but he's wanting to use it here on this Torment script, which
Yeah.
if he has replenish in hand and he's kind of able to start going off here, because I see a second Argothian Enchantress in hand
I see a Sterling Grove
as
is
well.
what I see. That's
Okay, yeah.
and an Enchantress. There we go. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. So Ben is going to be able to flip that Exalted Angel attack for 4, which again is a real clock, but with Brad really having his engine established at this point, I feel like I would say that Brad has the advantage more pointed to him as of
Yeah.
right now.
Absolutely. I was going to make that statement myself. Just the advantage bar is firmly in Brad's side here, especially with that Sterling Grove in hand. Now Brad's popped the aura, I think. What do you want to bet he knew about that off the Miri's Guile, which is why that replenish that he's got there is going to put in a
Yeah.
lot of work. I think we're going to be able to safely say we're hitting, as Brad called it himself, the garbage time here.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely looking that way.
Yeah.
Exploration, 3 triggers.
Just a casual ancestral. Is Enlightened Tutor in hand as well? Yes, it is.
Yeah, so it looks like he brought that in from his sideboard.
Sword the Angel.
So again, it looks like one mana Stone Rain will probably be occurring here. Yeah. And I think that's a fair use there by Ben.
Yeah.
Throw 3 triggers. Yeah. Second lane.
And Brad
I was just about to
hitting.
make that comment. He needed to find that Sanctum fairly soon, or his mana was starting to get a little low.
3 triggers.
But
That was a timely Sarah Sanctum.
yes.
Not that he was really hurting for cards because he spends 1 mana to draw 3 cards multiple times. it was likely he was going to find it.
Third lane now.
All right, so we've played 3 lands this turn, so he still has another land drop.
Row 3 trigger.
All right. Now, I do want to mention here, and obviously Brad can just sacrifice one of them, but at this point, with double Sterling Grove in, he cannot do the Opal Wave trick because it gives other enchantment Shroud, and Shroud not hexproof, so therefore you don't have to worry about, you can't Opal Wave with a Sterling Grove in play. Now, if there's only one in play, you can exile the Sterling Grove under the Parallax Wave before you go off. But with 2 in play, you can't even target either one of them. But it's looking like we are about to wrap things up here.
Yeah, we're pretty close. He has 7 enchantments out, so.
Sorry, 1 second. Oh, you're good.
He's got 8
I'll
cards in
see.
hand, and Ben's got 2 lands out and maybe 1 in hand.
Yeah.
Ben fought the good fight.
Yeah, he essentially has Parallax Wave with the replenish and the wave that he got rid of at the beginning of the turn. And we see, obviously, he got the Opal with the Grove.
Oh, we
it
are
looks like
going
he's
straight to discard. And that's... I don't see that being too much of an issue, to be honest. I think...
No. I mean, with Ben only having 3 mana for hitting land drop, it's not like he could play a threat here that gets over. Obviously, the Exalted Note gets over, but that's only 4. With Brad being 8, he could comfortably take 1 more hit.
Yeah, there's no creature that can put 4 power in the air that quickly.
Yeah. Attacking there too. We have 2 blockers with our 2 Enchantresses, but again, 4 and 3 in this situation, no different.
No, not at all. And like we've just called time in the round, so we've got active player, but I'm suspecting that.
So
let's see. I'm suspecting that Brad's going to be able to get a critical mass of creatures here off of enchantments and playing the Opalescence, and then just killing him over 2 turns.
Yes. He may not be able to kill him this turn, as he only has 5, 7, 10 power worth of enchantments on the table right now. But I mean, like you said, he could throw so many enchantments down this turn that next turn it's going to be well over that 17 number he needs at this point.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Now the other thing to consider is I saw that Ben did have the Concordant Crossroads in his hand. I'm hoping beyond all hope that Ben does not play that Concordant Crossroads, because that would not end up well in his favor.
No, it would not. And Brad, at this point, just kind of taking the time to map out this entire turn. Again, kind of as we were saying earlier, Enchantress, once you get to this point of so much resources, so much mana, it's mapping out your entire turn. It could be a difference between living a turn or killing a turn or just losing the entire round because you played something in a weird way the wrong way and you missed out on 1 mana or 1 point of damage somewhere, and it costs you everything. So
this is a deck where you can bleed value unintentionally. Now,
yeah.
just did a quick count of Brad's board. Brad's got 10 power in play right now, which is why you said the 17 he needed next turn. Because we've got 5 1-drops, a 2-drop, and a 3-drop. Now, obviously, Ben has blockers, but those blockers are going to be gone very quickly. Thanks
those
to
the
Opalescence in his hand. Yeah, they are absolutely irrelevant. Thanks to the Opalescence in his hand and the Parallax Wave in his graveyard.
Yeah. As we saw earlier, Ben can protect, quote unquote, for 2 activations here, but with so many activations that Brad will have with just the 5 fading counters on, wave, it just completely overpowers this Sylvan Safekeeper at this point.
Yeah. I'm hoping Brad will keep
Scores
his
3 triggers.
enchantments back that can't attack this turn.
Yeah, that's another small thing I've learned as playing through this. When you think you have a turn like this where you're gonna be able to play Opalescence and waves and such like this, I've started the trend of playing my new enchantments upside down to
Absolutely.
signify them uh summoning sick and they can't
Absolutely.
attack. So
I agree with that 100%. Brad just adding a casual 9.
Sword Silver.
doing your best Tolarian Academy and Gaia's Cradle impressions here
Yeah.
with tapping one land and adding just obscene amount of mana.
So Brad's going for the double swords on this.
Your trigger. For activation.
Now, Ben could do a slide heads up play and protect maybe a wall of roots.
Mm-hmm.
Or Ben could also do the very heads up play and not to put too fine a point on it, but Scoop might be the other play here.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously,
I'm
he's
personally hoping for the flawless victory of no lands, no creatures. But that's just me. That's
I'll sacrifice this, giving the angel.
okay.
Then this
So it kind of looks like your idea was correct there. So now that Exalted Angel now has Shroud.
it
So even if
does.
Brad gets it
Yeah, but
out,
this Enlightened Tutor is gonna go get another wave, and
yeah.
then Brad's gonna have to pass the turn. But as soon as that upkeep rolls around, I would be stunned if that angel was not sent to the exile zone forever.
Oh yeah.
Or did I just see another wave in his hand?
It would not surprise me since
Oh,
Brad has drawn so far.
okay.
Solitary confinement.
It's a solitary confinement, which
Yeah, I think you've got it.
yeah, and Ben saying I think you've got it.
Yeah, he's kind of putting his graveyard and his exile together there.
Yeah,
Not a huge bit, but I think he wants to see a wave before he picks it up.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And there we go. So Brad taking it down in a
I did way wrong, but I'm
brutal
so
fight there at the end
tired, I
there.
just was
But
like,
so that
fuck, I don't
has
know,
him ending
I-
up at
holy
3-2
no
and
clue anymore.
potentially in the as we said on the day
Yeah.
in the tumbler for top
No,
8.
I was
So,
trying to think if there was a
but
line
with that said,
for this, okay.
that's going to be it for us here today.
I mean,
But
maybe I
we'll be
just
back
need
later
to-
with more pre-modern content from Through the Decades in Louisville, Kentucky.